Hello, you. Yes, you. This is a percent of you who watch our content unsubscribe to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things ways, I just realized that both of you have not been on set forever.
Life is
Well,
if it's not fuel, it's internet. If it's not internet, it's power. If
it's
not
not
power,
always the price of food.
the price of food in the market is now like.
At least your own is one after one or the other or the other. My own is everything mixed together.
Jesus.
Fuel, price of food, price internet. What is in the news? We'll talk about
Even
it.
to be a fine girl, self nowadays,
Wahala.
guy. Even natural beauty. No, they natural again.
Oh my God. Wow. Where do we start from?
How are you?
To our YouTube channel. We have done all the videos. You must subscribe whether you like it or not.
Do that now.
Please go on our YouTube page and hit the subscribe button and be a part of our community. So tonight we want to discuss the impact. Hey, WAEC, people are trying me. 18 years WAEC requirements on students' education. We want to discuss what that impact would look like. And here's what we found as today's quote. It says, our education system needs to be radically reformed, not just in theory, but in practice. It is not enough to speak about change. We must hear fellow parents with this development in 2025, because I hear it's 2025. I want to hear your thoughts. What are your plans? What are you doing? But we'll do all of that first. Let's run off on a break to see what we found in today's news. It's a popular day for wine enthusiasts to celebrate and enjoy different varieties of red wine. The day is meant to honor the rich history and tradition of red wine, highlighting its cultural significance and enjoyment it brings to many.
The wine person, so yeah, I don't alcohol, and I will.
The time I used to try it, if I take it, I get a headache.
Yeah.
So I was not wondering, what is the point of this thing? I think you finish, I get headache. So I just say, you know what, plus you and the alcohol be going.
Yeah.
But even when I used to take wine, I didn't like the sour ones. I liked the sweet red.
ones.
Yeah.
So even the white wine, I like the sweet white. I don't like anything.
Anyone is really nice, honestly.
No,
For me, it depends on the mood and what I'm eating. Yeah.
I'm not a
And I enjoyed going for wine tasting events. It's really nice.
That's
don't worry,
another
we'll
thing
soon ship
that
you to
I'm not
France.
quite sure. Like,
Oh, please. Please,
there
please,
is
I
a
want.
bit of lemonade, lead 24 hours power supply. And so telecom company, they're saying that, listen, we're going to have to shed loads. And what that means is we're probably going to be looking at slower network, more challenges making calls. As of right now, network is not as stable as it used to be. But according to them, if they do this load shedding, it's going to get worse. And so subscribers are crying out, I beg you, don't do it, because lots of businesses are dependent. I know Nigerians, most of us are data users. We're not like Wi-Fi or fiber and all of that. So, yeah, that's
So
basically
is
what
this
they're doing.
only going to affect data? It's not going to affect fiber?
It's going to, well,
And is this only MTN?
No, it's not telecom companies.
Everyone.
Yeah. So it's, I think it's just one of them that was sounding optimistic that they can, one of them that starts with A. Yeah. The rest were like, oh, cost of running it is extremely high. I'm not sure we can keep up.
Wow. Let's come to you, Lero.
Okay. My news is the IG vows to rescue 2,149 kidnapped victims. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, on Tuesday gave the assurance that the police would rescue all Nigerians currently in the captivity of kidnappers. According to the statement he made by the police force, Muyiwa actually stated that the headquarters, while reflecting on appraising the effectiveness of the well-coordinated operations for the rescue of 20 University of Makurdi and Plateau State University students that were kidnapped in Benue as well. According to the report released on Tuesday, the data collection organization, no fewer than 2,149 Nigerians were kidnapped across the country in 2023. For me, what I'm really concerned about is if he's vowing and promising to rescue 2,149 people, how many of these guys are going to come out alive? and for how long? Because this is a high number. And I don't know if the Nigerian police has that much, what's it called?
Personnel.
Resources and personnel to get this
They
done
don't have enough personnel
the right
for
way.
sure.
Because my worry is people are going through a lot. What happens to the people that their family members have actually been kidnapped? There was this video I saw about a lady that was kidnapped in Abuja, and the reason, the ways they get kidnapped is still the same way that they have been getting kidnapped almost everywhere. Cabs, vehicles, and the like. So why is the government not doing something about it to just at least reduce that risk?
I think it was the other day that you guys were talking on the show about Okonjo Iweala and her speech during I think it was the judicial, she had the new CJN inauguration, and she was saying something about politicians using sponsoring
How they have
insecurity,
weaponized
weaponizing insecurity, terrorism, and all of that. And it's really sad because you would wonder, how is it that for so long, it's as though this terrorism thing or this kidnapping, it's fast becoming an industry. There was a time when it was 300,000 and they will be shaking while they're asking for it. But now they are so bold as making demands of 200 million.
There was a TikTok video
Billions.
that went viral of a kidnapper that was actually showing his money, the largesse that he had gotten from as a ransom from a victim. But I hear Uti Elu has joined us via Zoom. Hi, Uti. Hello, are you there?
How are you?
Hey, what a guan?
Hi, Uti.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, look at that picture in the background.
Yes, yes,
Uti,
yes.
You look amazing. I love it.
Yeah. It's
Pretty
giving.
woman.
Oh yeah, Uti, what is the cocoa? How have you been? You traveled, you came back and decided not to come to studio. It's all right. We are watching you in 3D. But how have you been?
Life is life, but I can't wait to come back to the studio in person. So I'm hoping that next week will be better.
Hopefully, we are praying with you too. All right. So, what did you find for us in the news, Uti?
So, well, in the current economic climes, this story caught my attention. The headline says FG distributes free cooking gas cylinders in Lagos. Of course, it's no news how expensive cooking gas has become over the last, I would say, 1 year. And the story says the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ekpo, in collaboration with the Decade of Gas Initiative, on Monday flagged off the distribution of free cooking gas cylinders to approximately 300 women in Lagos State. Now, he says that this is part of the government's initiative to provide 1 million homes with access to clean cooking by the year 2020. So this is an initiative approved by the current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So it sounds great, essentially encouraging women to transition from using things like firewood, kerosene, charcoal, and moving to the cleaner, safer LPG, that's gas. So I think what really caught my attention was I saw this and I thought, oh, fantastic, right? And then I see that it's only 300. So it was a bit of a downer. But then given that this is supposed to last for maybe the next 6 years, it will be interesting for them to say how they're planning to select these women, so people know and there's transparency to it. But I guess this is really just part of the government looking to say that as part of this initiative, that 250,000 cylinders will be distributed annually until 2030. I didn't pick up in the story if it's going to support them in terms of refilling the cylinders after the first one runs out. But
Uti, can we just leave it there?
No.
Leave it.
Leave it
for
is
them.
Even a wise decision.
More we leave. When are they leave? Because if let's say these people, they know they think.
It's like
through-
they're moving from fire to fire.
nah. They know they think through things. Uti, leave it. Don't ask that question. When we get there.
I think they also did mention, okay, yeah, so they said that the women should not sell the gas cylinders. Yes, so yes, that the women should not sell the gas cylinders, that gas will be available to them at a reduced rate, but it doesn't say how reduced and for how long.
Well, 5%
To be honest,
is reduced.
No, but as far as I'm concerned, it still doesn't help them.
Oh, yeah,
Imagine
no.
moving from firewood and charcoal to gas. Do you know how much
No. But in the long run, charcoal is not cheap anymore. Go and check the price. It's
Yeah,
not.
charcoal
I
is
can tell
not
you for
cheap.
free.
It isn't cheap. Oh,
It's not
you're
cheap,
absolutely right.
but it's
Well,
not
charcoal
going to
isn't
be.
cheap.
It's not going to be compared to the cost of gas.
Okay, so let me quickly take,
Yeah.
because I want to take two stories. First, let me quickly mention, because I kept on wondering why somebody would just up and resign. So Business Day has brought out a report that says that how presidential jet seizure, poor intelligence, sacked the DSS NIA bosses, right? So fresh facts have emerged that the actual reason President Bola Ahmed Tinubu replaced Ahmed Rufai, former National Intelligence Agency, that's NIA, and Yusuf Bichi, the DG of Department of State Service, Security Services, that's DSS, is the reason is linked to that seizure, that jet where they seized. So the president had approved their replacement on Monday, appointing Mohammed as the new Director General of NIA and Adiola Ajayi as the DG of DSS. Of course, Business Day had gathered that from sources in the villa that Rufai and Bichi's replacement were linked to the embarrassing seizures of Nigeria's assets by the Nasanzi Gofi pronounce this Chinese name. The investment company.
Zhaofang Venture. Okay, pardon me, but
the investment company from China. But you see, I have like some things to say, but I want to hold my thought. It's so interesting how National Intelligence Agency and DSS will be sacked just because a presidential jet was seized. People are being kidnapped. The same way Alero talk about. People are dying. People are being kidnapped. There's so much insecurity. Those were not enough reasons to sack these people. But because a presidential jet was seized, you sack them. That's one story. Then I want to quickly mention a very disturbing story that I found. I mean, somebody had forwarded that story to me this morning. That was the first thing I was listening to on my way to the office this morning. And I thought that was really sad. Like, how can you have so much bitterness inside of your system? So there's a Canadian woman that they had called out. I mean, the people have called her out that she was what's it called? Inciting people to go and murder people from Yoruba and people from the western region and, of course, the southern region from Benin. Yeah. So she was saying that, in fact, from the video, it's a very lengthy video. From the video, she had said that she would go, even when she gets to her work the next day, she will go and put the otapia, sniper, or whatever it is in their food so that they'll just be falling sick and they will not know. Let's just spy them. So Abike Dabiri, they have found her picture out and they have posted it, and I think they've written to the Canadian government to fish her out. That's one. But you see, the question I want to ask, that if you had listened to this disturbing video, it was not only her. There were so many people like applauding and, you know, commending and whatever. So I want to appeal to Abike Dabiri. This is not the only person you should hold, though. Because if you really want to say you want to attack, this is just one person. Everybody that was on that live TikTok, because nobody opposed whatever it was that she was saying about going to go and kill people from Yoruba land and people from Benin land, you know. I couldn't wonder, waiting enter Benin matter inside this. Like, I've always known that Igbos and Yorubas, you know, there's always, we can't bring Benin inside the matter. But let's even just leave it. For me, it was very, very troublesome. Worrisome. Watching this video, it was 3 minutes of pain that I listened to this morning. And it's really sad.
My own question now is, why do people inherit enemies? Why do you transfer? Like, if you had a problem with one Igbo man, or let's say 5 Igbo men, we still have, millions. We still have millions of people in the world. We still have millions of Benin. Like, I don't understand why people are using tribe, and that is the reason why all these politicians
they will keep getting away with what it is that they are doing.
They will keep using it to divide us. They will keep using tribe to divide us. We have 36 states in Nigeria. So you're not saying that because I'm sure that she probably disagreed with a couple of Igbo, a couple of Yorubas, or a couple of Benin people. That's why you want to now kill. And you know that some people don't have sense.
And she was saying in that video that the Igbo people should start having hatred, this wickedness inside their.
Why?
The Igbo people are not nice. They're always too nice. They need to start exhibiting wickedness and hatred. I say, auntie.
And so how does that help us?
How does it help us?
Why?
Look at my life. I'm a Benin girl. I've not hired a Benin person. Everybody that works for me are because I don't see people across tribal lines, for goodness sake.
It shouldn't be like that. You should see heart, you should see talent.
Uti is saying now what malfunction? When I saw Uti's comment, Uti said that what is her malfunction? My sister, I don't know what her malfunction is.
I agree with you. I agree.
She needs therapy.
But this one, I'm saying that they should not arrest her alone. They should arrest all of them.
I agree.
We'll take a
Trace
break.
all of them.
Let's talk about this WAEC matter because I don't want to concern me now. At this point, we'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now we're focusing on the education sector today, precisely the latest news as the federal government pegs age of writing WASE at 18 years. Now, critical stakeholders in the education sector have condemned this decision of the federal government to peg the age at which students can write the senior secondary school certificate examination at 18, saying it will simply draw the sector back. Now, the group reacted to this comment by the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, that from 2025, any candidate to write the examination and without doing so, such candidate won't be able to, from 2025, any candidate who is not up to 18 will not be allowed to write the examination. And without doing so, such candidate, of course, won't be able to seek an admission into any tertiary institution. From delayed academic progress to increased dropout rate, 18-year age limit has sparked a heated debate and its requirement hindering the educational aspirations of young Nigerians. Or is this a necessary measure to ensure that academic maturity is attained before they enter the universities, right? So that's the conversation we're having. Okay, let me come to all the ladies because me, as I did like this, so I have a lot of things to unpack. But let me keep quiet first.
First of all, I'm going to start from the word you just said now, that is for what? Academic maturity. First things first, in this part of the world, we are not mature academically. Children have been limited right from when they were young. The curriculum that we even have alone is not even helping children to be smarter.
Outdated.
It is so boxed out. Children are not able to think by themselves because when you give them a curriculum, on the day of exam is what the teacher dictated for them that they have to put as the answer. So they are not even helping these children to grow. So now, primary school, 10 years old, right? 11 years is expected that you are supposed to enter secondary school. 11, just 1 to 6. So that's 16.
16, yes.
So I'm 16 years old. I'm supposed to be preparing for university. That I'm supposed to graduate university at 20. You're not telling me now that I will wait 2 more years to write WAEC. What is the sense in that?
And then remember that Nigeria is such a blessed country that you have to factor in strike. So strike, if you're lucky, maybe you get 3 months or 1 year or 2 years. I don't know. Some people have been in school for 7 years for a 4-year course.
This is ridiculous.
But this conversation is also linked to the fact that tertiary institutions have complained that they are bringing babies into the university.
When you say babies, is it by age or by knowledge?
Yes, babies by age. In terms of like the age, people are not mature and they're coming into the university. So from some of the quotas, I hear that this was supposed to be like a measure to checkmate that bringing babies into university so that they have mature people going into the university. But let me hear your thoughts, Uti. Uti, you are muted, though, if you can hear me.
Hello.
Okay, now I can hear you.
I can hear you. I've been listening to the conversation. And so to be honest, right, I understand it. I think that our system, right, it has its pros and cons for this. One, culturally, we've not had, particularly in the curriculum that is WAEC, NECO, we've not had, we start school early, right? Other curriculums, you start school at age 5, you are in school for 12 years, so you're graduating at 17, 18, and then you go into college or you go into university depending, right? So we have had cases where we don't do, our curriculum doesn't peg a class to an age. So we all had in the 80s, if you grew up in the 80s, you were used to hearing things like double promotion. So people went from primary 1 to primary 3 because they were really smart. So somebody like me, I went into JS1 at age 9, right? So the reality of it is you find that people get to the end of secondary school quite young. Now, in the UK, the way the system is designed, you finish secondary school at 16. Then you go and do 2 years of college if you want to go to university before you take your A-levels and you go to university, or you do any sort of vocational qualification for 2 years before you go into university. So in terms of ensuring that we don't have, because I know in Nigerian universities, sometimes we have people as young as 15 going into university, which is not ideal. Unless you are a child prodigy, there's no reason why you should be going into university that early. Because the truth is, you're not mature enough for the experience. You're also not mature enough for the kind of people that you'll be mingling around with. So it can actually be dangerous. And in terms of development for the child, that's why you find that most other curriculums, they tie progression to age. So if you're doing the British curriculum, for example, it waits until you're 5, depending on when you were born. If you're born in the earlier part of the year, you will even hang back, because by the time you will turn 5, you have to wait until September. So you will still spend another, how many months is it now, to actually change, to actually go to the next class. And then it's pegged, your movement is pegged by age. So you're 5 in year 1, you're 6 in year 2, and you go on and on and on and on like that, right? So I can see the sides. But the point that the ladies have also raised is valid. Now, first and foremost for me when I heard this is, we haven't factored in the fact that our 4-year degrees, by virtue of strikes, are not really 4-year degrees. Except for maybe those that are going to the private universities, right? Then there's also what I like to call, it's not even what I like to call, that's what it is. It's ageism, right? So in other parts of the world, age is not a factor when job adverts are being put out. But here, it's commonplace to see job adverts saying 27 and below, 26 and below, 24 and below. So is this now going to be factored in to the ages of entry-level jobs?
Entry-level jobs.
Because if I can't go into university till I'm 18, and my 4-year course becomes a 6-year course or a 7-year course, I'm already 24. My math is correct, yeah? I'm already 24, 25 before I graduate. Then I've got a year of NYSC. By the time I do that, I'm almost at the tail end of most of the age ranges for entry-level jobs.
For entry-level jobs.
That's it. If you are going into entry, like graduate trainee positions in a lot of industries, you are at the higher end of the age bracket, right? So for me, that's where the challenge lies, that you kind of understand that you want to solve a problem, but you can't solve one problem in isolation of all the other problems that are built into this ecosystem. So when you solve one, you have to go all the way down the line. So are we going to have something that compels businesses to say, you can't, maybe you raise the age for your graduate training programs, your entry-level programs, or something? Because what you don't want to do is have young people go through education and be disadvantaged. One can even argue that they are already struggling right now. The opportunities are few, the quality of the education is questionable. There's a lot rooting against the average young Nigerians today, particularly the ones who are going to government universities. So whilst I get the problem that they're trying to solve, you can't solve just the first problem. You have to tackle the entire ecosystem.
Okay, you know what? Let's go and drink water, because I want to say my own mind. But I want to drink water first. I have energy to say what I want to say. Stay with us, we'll be right back. All right, so if you just tuned in, thank you for staying with us. Now, the conversation is the impact of 18 years WAEC requirement on student education. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-8038-4663. Our phone line is now open. Like, as I said earlier, please, if you're a parent like me, that is boiling, just call. The number is 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. Please remember to turn off the volume of whatever device it is you're watching us from so we don't get the feedback, and let's hear ourselves clearly. So, Utielu, let me come back to you. You said that the start age for school is age 5. Abi? When you say age 5, what class are we looking at? You're talking about year 1, not nursery, right? Uti, are you there with me? Now you are they come back to.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
So yes, I didn't hear you. Yes, I didn't hear you. That's the start age for class. Yes. So if you added 6 years to that, which is that the person has done year 1 all the way to year 6, right? To graduate primary school. That is what? 11. Let's do mathematics here.
Yes.
11. Because that the thing I calculate my brain since. I said, can I know my offense? Can I know my offense? Because now the child enters GSS1 at age 11. Add another 6 years to that. The child is 17 at SS3. So are you trying to tell me that the child at SS3 should now probably go and do vocational studies, then come back and write WAEC? Because I don't understand how that child is going to land at writing the exam at 18 years old. It is impossible. Okay, currently now my son is 16. He turned 16 in July, right? I did not skip a class. You see that on a double promotion, the thing affected me. Because my mother said, oh, you are brilliant. And because I was born in November, right, they just felt like I was too old for my class. So they kept on giving me double promotion. So I was barely turning 9 when I entered JSS1. So I was a baby. I was just useless in the class because all my classmates were 12 years old. They were 11-year-old. And I was just too young. It's the same thing when I got into the university. I entered the university like 15. So I graduated at 19 or so. Yeah. Before I even turned 19. That was when I graduated. So for me, I was just playing throughout school. So because of that, as a mother, I decided, you know what? My children will not skip one school. No matter how brilliant they are, no matter how mature they are, they will not skip one class. And my children have not skipped any class. But they still will not land SS3 at age 18. So I don't understand how the government will just wake up and decide to take a decision. So if you are taking that decision, Uti, it would mean that maybe they can go back to say, you know what? Let us start a cycle. And the cycle does not start from any child that is currently in school. You are supposed to go back to kindergarten, saying that, you know what, going forward from primary school, they should not enter primary school until they are 6 years old. Because it's not even age 5 that will work now from this mathematics. They have to be 6 years old to go into year 1. 6 plus 6, there will be 12 going into JSS2. JSS1. Then add another 6 years, there will be 18 at SS3. Bear in mind that some schools in Nigeria do not even have SS3. I have a lot of schools that they follow the strict British curriculum. So they stop at year 11. They don't even have a year 12. So how do you even... So when you come up with a law, how do you... Like, literally, do you even think? You understand? Do you really think through these laws? Because now they've thrown a lot of parents into confusion. You're saying by 2025, the children that have successfully gone through JSS1 to SS3, which are my own children. You waited for my own turn. God of heaven. That they should now wait. So now when I did the math, because David is July 3rd, he won't turn 18 until 2028. Not even 2026. Okay. 2025 next year, he will still be 16 before WAEC. 2027, right. He will still be 16. 17 before WAEC. So he needs to write, that means what they are telling me is that 2 years gone, he needs to write the exam at 2028. Come on. Who does that? You don't implement a law and just wake up. Uti, you're laughing, it's not funny. Because the thing now, I just look and I don't calculate my brain. So, what is the solution?
You know why I'm laughing, Goa? You know why I'm laughing? I love how you can still get so riled up by the government and the changes that they make. I find it quite entertaining. Forgive me. You know, this thing, right? That's why I try to say that. You know, when you don't think through a problem end to end, and you just say, right, we have a problem. Here's the solution. It sounds like this math that you're doing doesn't sound like anybody counted to say that, okay, so is it that I finish SS3 at 17 and then I don't have anything to do for a year? Because I was even saying, okay, if you finish, so for example, like I was saying in the UK, you finish at 16, right? Then you have college for 2 years, or you have vocational courses for 3 years, right? Before you go into university. So it's the same thing. You just thought about the first parts of the problem and didn't really sort of think through how you holistically solve the issue. So yes, you're trying to solve one thing, but then you've caused a different problem because now I finished at 17 and then what's supposed to happen? Like if I even could take the WAEC at 17 and then you say I can't go into university till 18.
That's still fine.
And then you put a program in place that says in that 1 year, we have an internship program, or we have something, then it makes sense. But like I said, it still comes down to, we are used to solutions not being well thought out and implementation being a problem. So I'm laughing over because
Uti, you know why I'm riled up. Unfortunately, I don't see this pattern of this new government style. They go just talk and they don't already decide they
don't sign them already.
Because this is what they've been doing from day one. And I'm not saying why. Why did you decide to just come to the education sector? You should have just stayed where you were doing.
But this is why more and more parents will be finding other curriculums to take. Because the truth is, you can't come and put my child at a disadvantage for 364 days in a year. You can't put my child at a disadvantage for that long because you didn't think through a problem properly. You will just find that more and more schools, quite a lot of schools have already moved away from those curriculums. So you will just find that more and more schools will do the same thing.
But does it not still affect the parents and the children? Because if the secondary schools are probably using the British curriculum now, they will still finish school at that time.
I said some children are finishing at 15 based on this British curriculum.
So
some children are finishing 15. The point I'm even making, first of all, you do not even control the... See, let me tell you something. You can only make some of these laws when you yourself as a government, you put certain things in place. There are no schools right now that have standardized... We don't have standardized government schools. I'm talking about from kindergarten. We don't have standardized government schools. Do you understand? A lot of private people have invested a lot, to put certain kinds of structures, to put education in the hearts of a lot of children. Do you get what I'm saying? You as a government, you've not even thought through anything. You just wake up and put a law to say that. Because now, the reason I am this upset is the fact that you thought about something and you just say the next year. That's what I think they do. Is that how they do it?
For them to adjust.
When you put a law, like I said, with this kind of law, the only way it would have made sense to me, they would have said, okay, from 2030, right? You understand? Those academic year sessions. Because right now, any child that has gotten to GSS1 is already... Those ones are not your customer.
According to Maman Tahir, the education minister, he said that rule has been in there for a while. But it's just that the implementation, it was implemented at some point and then they gave a short window and then the window became a door. And so that door has been opened up until right now that he shut it down. But that doesn't mean that I support it because let's backtrack to 15. Yeah, I finished at 15 too. I stayed home 1 year because drama. I had to write JAMB again, even though I passed the first time. So I got into university at 16. And to a certain extent, I felt that impact of starting afresh, even though I skipped, primary 5. I jumped to secondary school secondary school from primary 5. So my point is, if a child can be left in a boarding school for your teenage age or from JS1, SS, and all of that, so how is it that that child cannot survive university at 15? Let's not forget that there are some children that are old souls.
No, so.
So wait, I'm coming. There are some children that are old souls. However, if the main argument, according to him, is the fact that some of them are not grown. Some of these kids, they are not grown enough to enter university. There are others that are grown. What is the matchstick for measuring grown? Is it age? Is it wisdom? Is it exposure? Because, if it was millennials, we'll now say, okay, or Gen X, we'll now be like, okay, maybe at that point, we were not so exposed. We were not. Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they are at 13, they are more exposed. They are wiser. The only thing is that a bit of laziness there and, indifference.
So, university.
But these people, wait, let me land. But these people, I think putting this limitation on them is telling them, oh, I don't think that you are valid or something. Because sincerely speaking, at the age of 16, even if, how do I put it? So here is the solution I'm giving, right? I imagine that I would rather they do. If you write that exam, there should be a structure put into schools where they evaluate, maturity is their challenge, Abby. They should evaluate your level of maturity. if you're mature enough to get into school at that age. Now, if they evaluate it and you're not mature enough, they could say, okay, we find you lacking in emotional intelligence, we find you lacking in management, you're a bit careless. So that 1 year you stay back and you work on it, they could defer your admission or something like that. So now you know, okay, or you could learn a vocational skill like Uti mentioned, they do in the UK. So within that period, you're no longer worrying over, what am I doing with my life? You already know that you have that admission or something is in place. You now need to work on yourself. It helps the child to be more focused. Also, let's not forget, Nigeria, we've not sorted out malpractice. If you peg this thing at 18, the level of desperation, not just the students, not just parents, is like you're saying malpractice, you're welcome, because everybody is desperate to write it at once and pass.
And
because
let me even tell you what parents used to do, but I'll come back to Uti. You know, remember that time where they say until your hand fit touch your ear?
Oh, yeah.
Say before you fit enter school. A lot of people now, I know some people that are old now in their 50s, they have two date of birth. The original one, that is the original date of birth, and the one that they had to doctor so that they could carry their child to school. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, like literally, this is the age of technology. People are moving forward, you are moving backward. Do you understand? It is annoying. Let me come to you, Uti. Uti.
So I hear all the passionate contributions.
Don't say that, Uti. Let me and you not fight this night, because now, as you did now, you never tell me say you never calculate your age. You never calculate the age, Abi.
She don't. I just
she don't calculate that. She say this no consign now.
Before that time comes, they go down.
Like I said, majority of the schools today, there is already a declining number in the number of students that are taking NECO, taking
and WAEC, yes.
Taking what. The way you just said it is what's going to happen. When it was put your hand over your ear, Nigerian parents found a way. When we will always find a way. My point is, the implementation is the problem. Like you said, if you tell me that everybody that is already in the school system today, I am then going to have a plan, which is, I don't want you to enter university till you're 18. If today you're on track to finish at 15, here's what's going to happen in between. If today you're going to finish at 16, here's what's in place for you. If you're going to finish at 17, here's what's in place for you. Then that's how you're actually thinking about the problem robustly. As opposed to just saying, carte blanche, everybody at the age of 18, that's when you can go. So thou shalt not pass here. But what happens in between? So it's still, for me, that's why I said, it still comes down to an implementation and process problem. Somebody hasn't thought about this process properly enough. So everything you're saying, the frustration, I hear you, but you've answered the question already. Parents will always find a way. So first and foremost, the parents that are children that are going into school now, shall we allow them to start at 6 and finish at 18? Can we do that? Then everybody else that is in the system already, can we then have a plan? That's the way forward. Because the truth of it is either that, or you gotta find a curriculum that favors your child. But guess what? Other curriculums is based on your child's date of birth. If your child is born in February, even if they turn 5 in February, they will wait till September. As long as they were not 5 before it was September, they will wait. But Nigerians, somehow, we think that our own curriculum is different. So we too were a part of the problem.
Someone said, I think it was on one of the comments on Instablog, and I saw it and it struck me. Someone said, so we don't believe people are mature enough to enter the university until 18, but we believe they are mature enough to get married at the age of 13, 14. The hypocrisy.
Don't even go there.
Like that's what I was saying, guys.
Don't even go there.
That's another kind of
I say Uti Sanzi.
That's another kind of.
Let's not even go there, because that one, in fact, you just go off. But I want to say that, in fairness to the intent of this policy, I know the difference. I know how I spoke to every friend that I have around me that has a child. It is not worth the trouble skipping classes for your children. So I am a strong advocate when it comes to parenting. I'm a strong advocate of allow your child go through all the classes. Process. So let them go through nursery, kindergarten, nursery 1, nursery 2, enter primary 1 all the way to primary 6, enter GSS 1 all the way to SS3.
Yeah.
Let them experience that process, because there's also the structure of building the child to understand starting and completing a process. Because for every level, for every phase, There's a process, there's a cycle. So when they get that graduation gown at kindergarten, they're excited. When they get the graduation gown at primary 6 or year 6, they're excited. When they wear those graduation gowns at year 12, when they're graduating, they're excited. It also teaches them how to start and finish something. Because again, you have a lot of people starting a project, they are unable to complete that project as adults. Because again, subtly, they've been wired to just jump things.
Yeah.
So that's why I even like the process. So even outside of the issue of the maturity, just the psychology of understanding that there's a process and I have 6 years for this project. When I finish this project, I'm going to wear a graduation gown. All that process helps with building the child. So I hear you when they talk about 18 years. I know how that maturity is helping me. I don't have problem in this my life because my children, you understand, in terms of their age and all of that, and the maturity and the experience, they're able to do things. Because I told you when I entered the university, I was playing. I only got serious in university when I entered year 3, and by that time it was already too late because I had played with my grades so badly. Do you understand? I made the best grades at the most difficult subjects because then I understand, okay, there's no room for anything in this university. So everything, I didn't know that things used to aggregate to eventually give me my final marks and all of that.
Yeah.
But by the time I got myself, it was 300 level that I got myself. And I can tell you for free, right? Had I entered the university matured, right, I had no business. I would have graduated with probably like a first class or something because it's not like the brain was not there. It was just the maturity to be able to understand that nobody's going to tell you, go and read your book or whatever. So that's why that age maturity helps, in shaping the children. And that's why most of the schools, they will tell you that, please, your child needs to be 18. You understand? For the child to come into our university. Some universities is sacrosanct. It's a law. You have to enter. So that's why even when people opt for this British curriculum that Uti is mentioning, they still go to do A-levels. They still go to do 2 years A-levels.
Yeah.
So you finish at 16, you do a 2-year course, then you now go into the university. All that process is required for the maturity of that child. The problem I have with this, our federal government people, is that you just wake up and you just think, WAEC is your problem today, and you decide to put a law. You don't even think through the process. You don't even understand. Now, all these children that are currently...
You were quarreling with me. Please, how is what you are saying now any different from what I've said?
Uche, I feel like quarreling with somebody. That's all. I just feel like quarreling with somebody. I don't know who to send my punches to. So I have to send it to you.
It's really sad.
crazy.
But what would have been the ideal situation? Like what Uti has mentioned, right? You'd have said, okay, you know what, people that are already in the system, wait for, let's see how to ensure that they don't get into university at 18. Then people that have not entered the system, that's where they should have even just started from. I don't tire. Let's move on.
Or they should see from the next batch of people
Not next
entering
batch.
JS1 or
Like
SS1.
maybe in the next
Not SS1,
like
because
5
anybody
years
that's
or 3
entering
years.
SS1 already,
It's already gone.
Yes.
But I have a question. Where does this leave? Western countries, sometimes you see in the news someone being a professor or bagging a PhD at the age of 17.
14.
There are special kids like that. So some of them you would see in some Western countries that maybe have some of this limitation or
Geniuses.
Yeah. So in
It's just
cases like that,
prodigy.
does Nigeria have
Just
allowance for people like that?
Those geniuses.
Because let's not write out the fact that there are geniuses amongst us. There are people that at the age of primary 1, if you give them a mathematics or a classwork, they will finish it in a gulp. So where does that leave? Are you going to put them in the same bracket with people who have to wait up till the age of 18? Because I don't think that is
That's
fair.
a question for somebody that's thinking. But let me answer that question, because if they think all these things go inside that their plan.
Oh yeah, well,
What
help us.
is
So again, the thought process is you haven't even solved the problem of the average child. I can't be worried about this genius thing. So I think that I just want to answer that question by saying, Sandy, don't overthink it. I mean, prodigies are rare. That's the truth, right? And usually they stand out. I mean, I have a friend whose son is a prodigy, and they knew he was smart. It wasn't until they left Nigeria and did the test they realized, oh, his mental level, IQ off the charts type thing. So I don't even think that when we're talking about our educational system, I don't think the identification.
It's even allowed. Yeah, I
is
agree.
part of
Our
that
education
process.
it does not allow
So
children to be
that one is
geniuses.
down
True.
to the parents. If you think that your child is special and your child could potentially be a prodigy, then you have to find a way to educate your child. It's just like people that have children on the spectrum. They're not waiting for the federal government. As parents, we have to do what's best for our children. So you find a way.
Also, another thing about this education is I think it's about time that they implement a grading system for homeschooling, because the rate of school fees right now, a lot of parents are
Did she just hear what you just said?
homeschool.
Oh, like really?
I don't like
Homeschooling.
See, whether they think it or not, let's say it is out there.
You can implement grading for homeschooling. You have to actually have a homeschooling program. Homeschooling today means that you are either selling orange or you are selling granite on your head, or you are not going to school, period. You think homeschooling, there's a mother somewhere right now that can't afford school but is sitting to teach her children? No, she's teaching them a vocation if she's teaching them anything.
Yep, they will join her to go and carry Yeah.
That's it.
Sounds the overthinker. But I wanted to talk a little bit on the video that I had stumbled on. Because again, since we are just talking, we don't know who is listening. Perhaps they might hear what we're saying. I saw a video of, I don't know if you guys have seen this video online that is going viral, of Chinese kindergarten children.
Oh, I've seen
that
it.
are
Knitting,
sewing,
carpentry work, mechanic work, bricklayers, and all of that. And I thought this is so brilliant, because that's why you see that there's so much growth and progress in China.
Yeah.
Because now they
in most Asian countries, Japanese kids are like that too.
They understand it. So I mean, our Minister for Education, if you really want to solve the problem, we need to wake up vocational schools. Do you understand? Because vocational schools are non-existent.
It's no.
Do you understand? Because I hear you that we're having a challenge when it comes to these issues around children writing examinations. But let me tell you something. If I had a vocational school that my child can go to from maybe age 3 to probably age 6 or age 7 to go and learn a vocational skill, I will take the child there 100%. First. When the child don't finish from there, I will carry the child go primary 1. By the time the child is getting to SS3, the child will be 18 years to write your exam.
And well equipped.
And the child will be, the child would have a skill. Like, we're not even thinking how to progress the country.
Yep.
We just wake up and we think that, okay, this thing is now is a new thing I want to face, and you just make pronouncement. You didn't even think it through. That's the one that is just upsetting me.
It's really sad.
So please, I don't know. They should not implement it in 2025. They should wait till 2026. When my picking don't write WAEC finish, then they can now do it.
It is done. Just like your national anthem.
Oh, like what is done. My own question is, what is Nigeria going to be in the next 20 to 30 years, the educational system, if by now we are really not thinking beyond our noses? Like, I think it was Sanzio or Uti that said it, that if these Chinese guys are focusing on their toddlers and, young children between the ages of, let's say, when they were born to, let's say, 5 or 6 or 7, they're teaching them trades, making their brain think and fix things for themselves. At the end of the day, when they are 19, 18, 20, they become good citizens of their country. And by then, they would have even had things to do that is even helping the economy. But at this point...
They get innovative.
At this point, our education system alone is not even doing the right thing. Like the curriculum, the way children are being taught.
We're already at a disadvantage with our curriculum and our educational structure. And you're not adding this one.
The curriculum isn't even the problem, guys. I don't think the curriculum is the problem. If you are trying to talk about the scale of the problem, all of us at this table, I think all of us at this table, but I'm not sure. We all went through the Nigerian curriculum. Our curriculum focuses on academics over the softer stuff, communication skills. Yes. We cram A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We cram 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're book smart, right?
Definitions.
But most times, are we able to communicate? Are we able to articulate ourselves? A lot of the kids that we say today, oh, they're so outspoken, they're so this, they're so that. If you find out, most of them are taking non-Nigerian curriculums. Yeah. Because these curriculums focus on teaching the children critical reasoning, logic, storytelling, before they even start to learn A, B. Writing is further down the line. Numbers is further down the line. We're talking things that is going to stimulate their minds. This is the difference in the curriculum. And this is why you see that children who have this different curriculum, right? They are very articulate. They're usually able to express themselves, right? Now, when you look at the problems that we have, I think saying that the curriculum is the problem is like starting from the middle. If you had the Nigerian curriculum today in a thriving education system with good quality schools, good quality teachers, you will have a lot of people coming out with a good education like we had. A lot of us went to unity schools and the education was fantastic. So it is, for me, even saying that the curriculum, yes, it may be slightly outdated, but trust me, at that age, you need to know your numbers. You need to know how to add, how to subtract. You need to know how to read. Yet the way it's taught to children these days is very, very different how we were taught. So if your children are in school now, like I'm good at math, right? When my son brings the math subject sum home, I can work it out. But we will argue because he will tell me, no, mommy, that's wrong. That's not how they taught us to do it. So the formula in how the answer is worked out is now different. If I do the sum and I make him do it my way, what happens is he gets half the mark. The teacher will tell him he got the answer right, but this formula is not what they were taught. That's how the curriculums have progressed. It is finding systems that make it easier for the children to learn. But the key problem is the degradation of the education sector itself. So that you are not even teaching this curriculum. If you were able teaching it, right, you would have a better caliber of students coming out at the end of it. So the degradation that we've had that started in maybe the late 70s, 80s, that has culminated in where we are now, that most of us would not want to send our children to a unity school, it's a real problem. The curriculum needs to catch up, yes. The curriculum needs to ensure that adults today, you know, we make the joke, common sense is not common. But the truth is a lot of people didn't get the opportunity to develop critical reasoning when they were younger.
That is so
and now there's a lot more distractions in the world. When we were growing up, you know, we had this curriculum, but then we also had to wait till 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. to watch TV. We also didn't have light. We didn't have entertainment. So guess what? We read books, right? So we learned in a different way. So the knowledge is still knowledge, just that there are different systems of learning it, which is what a curriculum is.
It's supposed to
so
be.
If we're talking about the real problems, my dear ladies, it is the actual education system itself.
That
The
needs to be
sector
overhauled.
is
On
completely
that comatose.
eroded.
Unfortunately, we ran out of time. We see you guys tomorrow. I'm not even talking again.